Hi, this is John Bathurst with Compass and Bathurst Coastal Properties here in Manhattan Beach. Cheers. Thinking about making a move or investing somewhere outside the Los Angeles area? Maybe it's somewhere else in California, or maybe it's another city or state. Hi, I'm John Bathurst with Compass and Bathurst Coastal Properties here in Manhattan Beach. I'm going to be interviewing some amazing real estate agent partners throughout the country. Maybe places you'd like to invest or maybe move to. Coming to California, I cover the entire Los Angeles coastline, and I would love to help. I hope you enjoy the upcoming interview. Cheers. Hey everybody, John Bathurst with Compass and Bathurst Coastal Properties here in Manhattan Beach. And it's my pleasure to introduce you to a great friend, an amazing real estate agent out of the Atlanta area in Alpharetta, Georgia. Jeremy Cady, say hello.
Hello. How are you?
Let me tell you a little about Jeremy. Jeremy is a luxury real estate agent in the beautiful city of Alpharetta, Georgia, which is just north of Atlanta. Jeremy's passion is video, and he's amazing. He has learned the art of dominating the local social media airspace with lots of crazy, amazing house and property tours. Jeremy moved to Atlanta in 2016 from Florida and has since sold over $120 million worth of real estate in just a short 5.5-year period. Jeremy's passion is relationships and the opportunity that his industry provides. He lives in Alpharetta with his 4 amazing, beautiful children. And I'm looking forward to getting to know Jeremy a little better and having you get to know Jeremy and Atlanta and Alpharetta, Georgia.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Love it.
Thank you. I have one big question here. Atlanta seems to be growing, and I don't know a lot about Atlanta, and maybe our listeners don't either, or people watching. Tell us a little bit about Atlanta, Metro, Alpharetta, and the area that you serve.
Awesome. So I will jump in and just try to make it brief. Everyone says Atlanta. That would be like saying I live in LA, but you really live in Long Beach or Irvine or Anaheim. Atlanta is the metro area. It's massive. Atlanta is one of the only cities in the nation that is not governed by any natural landmark. Like there's no ocean that stops it. There's no mountain range. So we are spread out. I don't live in Atlanta. I work in Atlanta, but I live north of the city in a suburb called Alpharetta. There's kind of 2 markets. It's in town and out of town, outside the perimeter, inside the perimeter. Alpharetta is no longer a sleepy little town. There's nationally recognized chefs. There's shopping malls and outdoor eating spaces that have dominated the space. We have the highest per square foot sold price in Alpharetta in the state of Georgia. A lot of money has moved from Atlanta to the northern suburbs. We have some of the best high schools in the nation. There's a high school locally here that has the highest SAT scores in the entire nation. So a lot to desire. Cost of living has remained pretty low. The thing that I have been telling a lot of people about the Atlanta market is if you take Atlanta and you compare it to 10 different metros around the nation, Atlanta is the cheapest. It's been the cheapest place to live for a long time. Prices did not appreciate very much since 2008. But of course, we know what happened in COVID. They just went through the roof. But prices are predicted to rise another 17% in the major metro Atlanta area in the next 2 years. So we're seeing the Atlanta market, we feel like it's going to be on par from a price perspective with some of the other metros in the nation. And that's great for specifically investors in that one sense.
Yep. That's awesome. Thanks for the little insight there. So I like to ask this question. What are you most excited about, the business this year, 2022? What's sort of happening there?
Well, right now I'm outside. It's just turned March 1st. It's 65 degrees and the sun is shining. But I love the Atlanta metro market for a lot of reasons. It's got 4 seasons, which I love a lot. You can be anywhere in 30 minutes. You can be to the lake. You can go to the mountains. You can be in an amazing metropolitan area. And then you can be outside of the city and heading towards the ocean. So I love Atlanta's diversity. What I'm probably most excited about Atlanta is that it feels like we are on the map nationally. That doesn't maybe that sounds kind of hokey, but so much money and so much tech, so many big companies have centered here in the Atlanta market that the job opportunities and it's just the overall vibe. I've visited a lot of cities, not that any city is good or bad, but Atlanta really in the last couple of years, especially pre-COVID or post-COVID, has really stepped up on the vibe. It's just a lot happening here.
You mentioned tech businesses. What businesses have moved there recently or have been there? So
one big specific contract that I think just got released, so I can say it, but Google just leased 100,000 square feet in downtown Atlanta. And a lot of tech jobs that are associated with the hospital industry, a lot of small tech companies have moved here. Also, Atlanta is home to AT&T and UPS and Haverty's Furniture and Coca-Cola and Chick-fil-A and Delta Airlines, some major companies that are centered here. Of course, all those companies, they need a tech space.
Awesome. So if you were to drive into Atlanta, into the city, and I don't know where the stadiums are in terms of the Braves or
come on, John, the Falcons. Come on, buddy.
The Falcons. How far away is Alpharetta to drive into that area?
Alpharetta is about 45 minutes north of downtown Atlanta. Of course, we've got the Braves. Battery Park has just been completely renovated, hundreds of millions of dollars. Of course, we won the World Series, which broke that drought, which is amazing. We're an hour from Athens, which is where UGA is. They won the national championship, so we had the 2-for-1. And the Mercedes-Benz Stadium is a $2.2 billion stadium that is in downtown Atlanta, about 45 minutes from me.
Gotcha. So what's the transportation system like? If somebody was moving to Atlanta, working in maybe more the downtown area, is it too far away for them to live in the Alpharetta area?
Here's what I tell people. Atlanta has had a pretty bad rap for traffic for a long time, and traffic is not good here. It just really isn't. But so many people work inside the city and live in the suburbs. It's a huge travel. Oftentimes people will just settle into a 50-minute-hour commute because they want to live in the suburbs. They want to be spread out. They want some more land. They want a little bit better school system. Outside the perimeter, there's really no massive transportation. The MARTA does run about 6.5 miles up Highway 400, but it stops short of Alpharetta. So if you want public transportation, you'd have to go inside the city.
Gotcha. You mentioned Four Seasons. Like right now it's 67 degrees there. I think here in the LA Manhattan Beach area, I think we're going to hit 78 today, and it's just turned March, right? What is your favorite season of the year in the Atlanta area?
I actually like them all. Everyone is a little bit different. I'll tell you what my least favorite season is like January to February, because it gets really dreary. It's cold. We're far enough south, we really don't get the snow. But there's something magical about the fall here. About late September through November, Atlanta's close to the base of the Blue Ridge Mountains. So there's tons of fall colors. We get fall foliage here. I mean, there's streets and trees and neighborhoods that are just, cars will line up in the fall to drive through and see the orange and red and greens. It's pretty beautiful.
Yeah, awesome. I've heard great things. So in terms of the market, what are you sort of predicting in the housing market this year, specifically in your area, which may be parallel to a lot of other areas in this country? Anything that you're seeing that is different than what's been happening in the last 18 months?
No, I'll answer that question in hopefully a non-long-winded way. I think we all can realize and relate to the fact that COVID changed the world in a lot of ways. And it changed the real estate market, and I think in ways that confused a lot of people. I think a lot of people thought it was going to go the other way, and it went in the direction of absolutely no inventory. We have less than a month worth of supply on the market, and I've been listing a lot of properties, and I'll get 7 or 8 or 9 offers, and 5 of them are investors, which for me tells me that if I have, a couple $100 million, I might not put it in the market right now. I think the market's going to go into a correction phase. We all know that. But real estate, stock market. Yeah, the stock market. Yeah, not the real estate market. I would follow what a lot of the investor pool is doing, and they're investing in properties. And John, I'm seeing investors buy $900,000 houses in the market, which I've never seen that before, because they realize if a dollar is worth $1 today, 17% in 2 years, that's where the smart money's going. And I think what we are seeing, and I think everyone is settling into this, is this inventory problem. It's not going to correct itself anytime soon. This is the new normal. I think we're going to see years and years and years of this.
Yeah, I happen to agree with you. I think I'm feeling the same thing here in California.
Yeah.
Any concerns about what's happening this right now? I mean, outside of some world issues we're having, but is there any sort of real estate issues and or things you're concerned about?
I'll be really transparent. I'm concerned about the state of the real estate agent going forward. I mean, I think if you had to spend $4,000 or $5,000 to get licensed and it took 2 years to go to school, I think the real estate industry would be comprised of a lot different agent. I'm not speaking negatively or positive, just a general statement. If you have 25 offers on a property, that means 24 agents did not win and 24 clients didn't win. And at some point, that's going to get to a point where it's going to be pretty challenging to stay in this industry. I think that real estate agents are going to have to be really, really, really deep embedded into their network and their relationships. And John, we've always been paid based upon the value we bring. Like, that's how life works. And I think as agents start to pivot and really understand that we have to bring a different level of value, I think there might be some agents that leave this business.
Yeah, I happen to agree with you as well on that. I don't know, 1.6, 1.7 million real estate agents in this country?
Yeah, 3 agents for every listing right now.
That's crazy. You had mentioned, why some people are moving into Atlanta and some of the tech and some things that are going on there. Is there any other sort of insight you can give us why people are moving to Atlanta other than being like the least expensive, maybe metropolitan area in the country?
I think price drives a lot of it. There are a lot of jobs that have been created here. Atlanta also has the busiest, most efficient airport in the world. We have more visitors every year than Hong Kong. It's extremely easy to get in and out of. You have American Airlines flies $69 flights to Miami. I mean, that's pretty attractive if you're an executive that works, in Alpharetta and wants to fly to Miami. The airport's a big pull. The school system in North Metro Atlanta is huge. They're some of the best. They call it private school education at no cost. But I also believe what people are coming to Georgia for, and I won't play any politics right now, but Georgia, especially the Atlanta area, if you look at Georgia, Atlanta is the only city in the state. It's very unique. Like California has 20 metropolises. There's nothing in Atlanta. Well, there's nothing in Georgia. Yes, you have Savannah. Yes, you have Macon, but these are tiny towns. So all roads flow. All the money is here. All the jobs are here. All the tech is here. And I think people are attracted to that kind of lifestyle. Sorry, there's a dog barking here. I'm outside. But at the same time, another thing is Atlanta politically has become a little bit more neutral. And I won't say anything about that, good or bad. It's just become a little bit more neutral.
I think that a neutral sort of state would be really refreshing because you either have one side or the other, and there's such a wide spread between those. There's no gray area.
There's not. And you can't speak totally to that, but I think there's a lot of factors that have played into that.
I agree. Cool. So people are moving into the market. People leave too. Like, why would somebody leave Atlanta, and what would that reason be?
Good question. They call Atlanta the midway point between Florida and the mountains.
Okay.
So I'm seeing a lot of people that have second homes in Florida or second homes in Atlanta that would be a first home in Florida. And I don't necessarily see a lot of people leaving voluntarily, but since there's so many corporate jobs here, there's a lot of transfers that happen in and out. I have seen people move for jobs. I've seen people move because of the sports career. Obviously, the movie industry here is number 2 in the nation under Hollywood. There's more movies being filmed here than any other state. Yeah, there's a tax credit now where you can get a 7 cent off your state taxes if you buy film credits because they're investing in that. So I'm seeing a lot of people move for corporate reasons. And some people, don't like the Atlanta area, but way more people I see moving in from California, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Michigan, Florida than I see leaving.
Gotcha. Cool. So is the population growing at what percent? You know what that stat would be?
I don't know the stat, but I do know that the comparison to some close neighboring cities, and I might slaughter this a little bit, but 20 years ago, Atlanta had about 1 million people. Birmingham, Alabama had about 1 million people. Today, Birmingham's got about 1 million people, and Atlanta's got 6.1 million.
Wow.
So the growth is exponential. We also have, and I don't know if this is a question or not, but we have some concerns. if you're a buyer or a seller watching this, there's concerns in our market. Like Atlanta was number one in the nation for inflation last year. And consequently, your rent prices are going up. Real estate prices have gone up. So I've switched my language with my clients from a crazy market, because I don't think it's a crazy market. I think this is a market of opportunity. I think it's a market where you're going to have to be tenacious. I think it's a market where you're a buyer and you're going to need to know what you really want and what you really can afford, and accept the things you can.
Right.
So I think there's concern there, but Atlanta's grown like crazy.
So interesting. Number one, inflation, thus people moving there and driving all the prices up, right?
Yep, exactly.
So it's kind of tough to talk about an average price point, because between Alpharetta and surrounding areas, we can talk, $500,000 price points, $1 million, $1.5 million to $2 million. Give me sort of a range of if somebody was moving there and had X to invest or to spend on a primary resident versus what true luxury would be in your area.
That's a good question. All right, so if I would have answered this question 2 years ago, it would have been completely different. And I'm sure a lot of markets can say that same thing. But if anyone watches this and you go on a map, the further north you drive, the more you can afford. Right? That's pretty standard. And that's pushing a lot of the growth to the northern suburbs. But I will tell you, the average price point is so specific to specific neighborhoods. I have specific neighborhoods that you'll have a 5,500 square foot home that's selling for $750,000. And about 2.5 miles away in a gated community country club of the South, where you have a 5,500 square foot home that's selling for $2 million. It's very specific to neighborhoods that have had a good reputation, HOAs that have done well, schools that are pulling to it. For example, I had a client that moved into town and they wanted their daughter at Northview High School. Great, highest SAT scores in the area, amazing school. And in all of Northview High School, there was 11 listings. There's 11 total properties total out of the entire area. And you can imagine what that does to real estate values in that one specific area. So it used to be that $550,000 was a really nice house. Now that same house is $750,000, sometimes $800,000. It used to be that we would call our luxury market around $700,000 to $800,000, but it's moved over $1 million.
Gotcha. So if somebody's moving into the area and they had $1 million budget,
yep,
could they still find a great neighborhood, school, etc.?
If they had $1 million budget, you could find a fantastic house. Now, there's not very many of them on the market, right, but when they do come on the market, you still can find them. And here's an example. I just sold a house that was 5,000 square feet, and it sold for around $1 million. So $200 a square foot. And I've got some friends that saw my social media post on it. One of them texted me, is like, dude, what's wrong with your market? Why is it so cheap? Look, my point is, they got a great house for $1 million. Now, if you want a chef's kitchen and you want white stainless steel appliances and a pool and a slate roof, and you want to be in a gated community in this specific school zone, you're going to need more than $1 million.
Gotcha. Is there a lot of water around where you are in terms of like maybe lakefront properties or anything like that?
So Lake Lanier is the most visited lake this side of the Mississippi River. Okay. Lake Lanier is in a town of Cumming, and it's about 15 minutes from Alpharetta. It has like 37,000 miles of coast. It's just crazy, huge, beautiful lake. It's all dam controlled. They dammed up the Chattahoochee River back then, and beautiful, clean, freshwater lake. The Chattahoochee River runs through. So really the only water in Atlanta is the lake and the river.
Okay. And do people live there as a primary resident? Is it more second kind of home?
It's changed. There's been a lot of people that have moved to the lake that have moved out of the lake as their primary. They've said it's lonely. Like they moved to the lake and they're not in the HOA. There's no tennis. There's no neighbors. So it's shifted primarily to a second home market.
Gotcha. Cool. So you mentioned investors buying up $900,000 properties.
Yep.
Talk about the investment opportunity in your geographic area.
I'll tell you a very specific example. I purchased a townhome as an investment back in December. And because I'm very well aware, it's close to where I live, across the street actually. And I saw the builder building these, and I've watched what values have done 2 miles away.
Okay.
So I purchased a townhome for $579,000, and I haven't closed on it yet because it's still being built. The same unit, 3 doors down, in the same building, is selling for $639,000. So if you're an investor and you have, $8 or $10 million you want to spend, new construction is extremely popular. Of course, it's hard to get, but if I wanted to make even 10% of my money in the next 2 years, I wouldn't do that in the stock market.
Right.
I'd do it in real estate.
Cool. We covered most of the gamut. Anything that we missed that you want to share?
I mean, I think the last thing I would say is, if someone's watching this video, the Atlanta market is awesome. There's a lot of amazing things going on. There's a lot of real estate agents here, but I have seen success when agents really, really, really get hyper local, and they know their town and their mayor and their schools and their restaurants and the millage rate and what the city water bills are and how much they're going to do this and that. Because if I just had a client that closed today from California, live in Santa Barbara, they're moving here in 2 weeks, and they flew here, and I happen to know their specific house extremely well, and they texted me the other day and they're like, dude, you have been a wealth of information. And I'm not saying I'm great, but if you were to move here, find an agent that is hyper local in the specific area that you're moving to, because you're going to need inside intel to win in this market.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a trend. Hyper local, not a massive geographic area, but really focusing on neighborhoods and
Absolutely.
And because inventory is so scarce, is having the ability to possibly bring inventory to them that's not on the market.
Right. I want to be able to say, hey, I know Nancy is selling, and I talked to Tim and Devin last week, and they've considered it as well. Now their house is this, and it has this kind of roof. And not that you can do that for your whole area, but that's what people want when they're moving across the country.
Absolutely. Well, hey, everybody, if you're looking to move into the Atlanta metro area, north of Atlanta, Alpharetta and surrounding areas, Jeremy Cady is an amazing agent, and you should definitely reach out to him and ask any questions about that market. And we really appreciate Jeremy's insight on his Alpharetta and Atlanta market.
Love it. John, you're awesome. Enjoy California. Thanks, buddy.
All right, peace.
Thanks.
Like a guy who could treat me right. Way oh, way oh, oh. Boy, take a chance, will you let me ride? Way oh, oh. I could be the best thing in your life. Way oh, oh. You got me singing. Way oh, oh. You look like a guy who could treat me right. Way oh. Boy, take a chance, will you let me ride?
I hope you enjoyed that interview. If you have any questions or comments, please comment below. And if you like the content, please like it. Please subscribe for further content that I'll be posting, and make sure you follow me on social media. Have an awesome day. Cheers.